I call this meeting to order at 2 p.m. And then we will have land acknowledgement by Samantha. How's
Take a
everyone's day
breather.
today?
Good. Stressing down.
All right, before we get started with our meeting, Associated Students Incorporated at Sacramento State would like to take a moment to give honor and respect to the ancestors and to the diverse indigenous people connected to this territory on which we meet. The original stewards of this land belong to the Anishinaabe, Catwin, and Miwok Native Americans. Keep them in your mind, carry them in your heart, and we ask that you take a moment to consider your ancestors and your relationship to the land that we are on. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha, can we have the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha, do we have a moment of silence? Oh, sorry. Samantha, do we have a moment of silence?
Unfortunately, yes. First, I would like to acknowledge a student, Kalina Miller. Kalina began her career at Sac State in the spring of 2015 and was pursuing a bachelor's in art, studio art methods. I would also like to take a moment to recognize the victims of the Sacramento shooting. Jontaya Jojo Alexander, 21 of Elk Grove, Melinda Davis, 57, Devizia Turner, 29 of Carmichael, Yamil Martinez Andrade, 21 of Selma, Sergio Harris, 38 of North Highlands, Joshua Hoy Lucchesi, 32 of Salinas, and also acknowledge all victims of gun violence. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, can we have roll call?
Thank you. Elizalde. Here. Zayas.
Present.
Soltero.
Here.
Carr.
Here.
Ashraf. Brown.
Present.
Rivera.
Here.
Payne.
Here.
Sharma.
Here.
Maddox. Bindle.
Here.
De La Garza Garcia.
Here.
Budani.
Here.
Cabrera.
Here.
McChris.
Here.
Curry.
Here.
Gallardo.
Here.
Montalvo.
Here.
Lenmark.
Here.
Aurora.
Here.
Reyes.
Here.
Taryn.
Here.
Parliamentarian.
Here.
I'm sorry, Vicki, I don't know your last name. Walter. Walter, thank you. Dalton. Tesh.
Here.
Thank you. Now we'll be moving on to approval of minutes 3/30/2022 board meeting and 4/6/2022 working board meeting. If there are no objections, the minutes have been approved. Hearing none, the minutes have been approved. Now we will be moving on to public comment. Members of the audience may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board or on any agenda item. If you wish to address the board, please sign the speaker identification sheet. And if you are here for the leadership initiative, it will be in the audience. The speaker identification sheet will be at the podium. And after you have signed for public comment, you may introduce yourself.
May I begin?
Hello, yes.
Hi. Good afternoon, ASI Board members. My name is Chet Madison. I'm your Chief of Police here at Sac State Police Department, and thank you for having me. I just want to come by real quick and introduce our newest members to our police department. And to my right, they're both to my right, closest to my right, is Adriana Banuelos. I'll start by saying both of our officers here are made at Sac State. Adriana Banuelos was the CSO for the police department here on campus and for 2 years, and then we made the decision to sponsor her, which means we paid for her to go through the police academy. And she went through the police academy in 2021 and graduated in December of 2022. I'm sorry, December 2021. And in January of 2022, she officially started with us. So we're happy to have Adriana. And then to her right is Remy Felina. She is also made at Sac State. Remy Felina comes from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, where she did over 22 years. She rose to the rank of Sheriff Sergeant, and throughout her career, most distinguishable for Remy was she was a canine handler for almost 7 years. So we're happy to have both of them with the department here, but most importantly with the campus community. So I'm going to embarrass them real quick and just have them say a quick few words, and then we will let you guys continue with the meeting. So I'll start with Adriana Banuelos. They didn't expect it.
And before you speak, can you sign the identification sheet? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I didn't really prepare much. Hi. Yeah, I've been in the Sacramento area for about 4 years now. I grew up in a very small town, so being in Sacramento just feels like it's a big, wonderful area where there's just so many opportunities, so many great things. And Sac State alone is just offers so much opportunity. I love it here, and it's just, it's a special place in my heart, but I'm happy that I get to be part of this community, and I get to be part of protecting this community, and I'm enjoying the ride so far.
Well, good afternoon. I also did not have anything prepared, so just kind of off the cusp, but I'm really excited to be here. I do have nearly 22 years with Sacramento County Sheriff's Office that I bring with me over here. This just seemed like a really good opportunity for me when it was brought up. Everything about it kind of fits, and it's really kind of, for me, it's kind of fun to kind of come back to this campus. Being here 25-ish years ago, I think it was, that I was going to school here. So much has changed for me that I thought I'd come back on the campus and kind of recognize different landmarks. But honestly, I'm like, okay, I think I was in that hall a lot. That's a different name now. And so, but it's kind of fun to be back, and I love the opportunity to come back and give back to the school, really, and the university that kind of really prompted me getting into law enforcement. Since my major was criminal justice and started into Sacramento County Sheriff's Office right after that. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to give back, just like Adriana had said. And I'm only in my 4th week, so got a few more weeks to go for training and getting familiarized with everything here, and then I'll be on my own, hopefully, shortly after that. So thank you for having us.
So again, thank you. We have one more officer, she's on graveyard, and I don't know if you guys meet on graveyard. So when she rotates the day shift, I will bring her as well. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to the special presentation, the Strategic Plan Framework by Robin Carter. If you may sign your name on the identification sheet, and then after, introduce yourself.
Hi, Robin Carter, currently a special assistant to the president, working on a few projects, and for the most part, right now, it's the strategic plan. So, thank you for inviting me to come here today. Oh, it's there. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is go through the plan. What I've been doing is doing forums on the strategic plan. We also have a version online, so if you get an opportunity, you can go look at that and study it a little bit further, and then make comments as well as you can give me feedback here. This is a draft, so it's really important to know that. We're still working on it. As a matter of fact, we're already incorporating some of the feedback we've gotten already, and it's been very helpful. Some of you have already heard this, actually a couple of times, so I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through it, I'm going to say fairly quickly, but I'm going to try to get through it in a way and really highlight the things that you want your comment on. Okay. Is there a trick to this? Is the red button supposed to, oh. There it is. Oh, this, oh, it's not the red button.
No, that's the pointer.
Okay. So, in 2021, we started out by hiring a consulting group, MGT Consulting, to come in and help us with the strategic plan. We also have developed a campus strategic planning task force at that time, and so the process began last year around this time, the preliminary work. This is our original timeline. And again, you can see the COVID, we actually tried to start in 2020, 2019, and COVID kind of got in the way. But we're somewhat on target with the plan to finish most of the plan, the significant parts of it, by the end of the semester. One of the things that's really important to look at is the stakeholder input. So last fall, a lot of what was done was input from stakeholders. The MGT consultant did this. They conducted 17 face-to-face interviews, 5 focus groups, did a survey of 902 responses. Most of those responses came from students, I'm happy to say that, and obviously the strategic planning task force gave a lot of input to this process. The other thing that they did was an environmental stand, and again, an institutional comparison. I'm gonna go fairly quickly through these next few slides, because this is just, again, the data that they put together around our university, so we can kind of better understand who we are, where we've gone, where we are now, and what our plans are for the future. Talks about kind of our future expansion up in Placer County, our demographics. Again, all of this is available on the site. I'm just going through it fairly quickly. The comparative university, similarly situated universities, so we can kind of look at where we are in comparison to them. I looked at all of their strategic plans as well. Conducted a SWOT analysis, and this was really an important part of collecting that data, so we could look at what our points of pride were, opportunities, internal challenges, and external challenges. Again, that's part of what I did with that focus group. We have a 30-member strategic planning task force. Those are the members of the task force. Again, they've been working side by side with MGT Consulting. And those are the members. Of course, you have your ASI representative there, and I think you actually have a possibility of someone else, Stephanie, I think. Thank you for participating in this process. So let's kind of get in the meats of stuff. What MGT gave to us, earlier in the semester was a proposed strategic plan. So they gave us this proposal up to this date. We then took it and made revisions. And so the strategic planning task force, we actually developed a smaller group of a steering committee, people who actually do some writing, dig in a little bit deeper. And so we made some revisions based on that. What we saw is what they gave was, it was a strategic plan, but it was really fairly generic. And it didn't really dig deep into the culture of the university or give the flavor of who we are. So we needed to add that. We wanted to look at like some other things like the Anchor University Initiative, the Inclusive Excellence in Anti-Racism plan, the graduation initiative, some of these other things that guide us, we want to take a look at those. So those were their proposed values, and then these are the revised values. Not significantly different, but for us, putting student-centeredness and student success at the top was really important to us. And being really explicit about the things that we will say that we know our values and that we want to drive us in the future. We then, the next couple of pages are definitions of those terms. So again, we didn't want to assume that there was a universal meaning to those terms, so those are definitions of those terms. Next, we went on to the mission. The proposed mission, as different from the first, is as California's capital university, Sacramento State transforms lives to lead, serve, and succeed in diverse communities. It's not radically different than the first one, and really important to think about that. And you talk about the mission and the vision, and while the mechanics and implementation of strategies might change over time, realistically, our overall, operating environment may change a little bit, but our values haven't changed radically. So, and our mission and our purpose hasn't changed radically either. Again, our vision, the proposed vision is Sacramento State as a welcoming and inclusive community shall be a leader in education, innovation, and engagement. Again, not radically different, a little bit more language in there, but not radically different. Again, you can give input into these mission statements as well. And again, all of this is on the online portal. Then we wanted to look at taking those values. What were the key areas or imperatives that drove us, was going to drive our future? And the 6 of them we came up with: learning and student success, teaching, scholarship, and creative activity, justice, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, resource development and sustainability, community engagement, and wellness. And so we created a strategic goal for each of those areas. I'm going to go quickly through those strategic goals. First one, learning and student success. Student success is, again, a continued important driver of our future. We know now that we've been able to, based on the measures that we set ourselves before in terms of graduation retention rates, we're doing significantly better in the area. But we think it's time to expand our conception of student success beyond that and focus more on what really drives students in their future. What does achievement mean to them? Personal well-being, they're reaching their personal and professional goals. We want to really expand that concept. So the first goal is to elevate student learning and success by becoming a more student-ready university. And our objectives, enhancing campus knowledge and practices to meet students where they are, as opposed to saying, you come in and fit into what we're doing here. We need to be changing, modifying our practices to fit the students who they are. And using data to inform implicit and implement best practices, and continue to remove barriers and support students to accomplish their desired goals and dreams. The second area is innovation in teaching, research, and creative activity. Again, these are drivers towards student success. And the important thing that we want to focus on is, we made a lot of advances during the pandemic in those areas, and we want to capture those things. So instead of just kind of accidentally saying, whoops, we've got to make some innovations, we want to capture those innovations as our own and say, we can take those and move forward. We also want to be prepared for this, for the students that we have now, our diverse group of students, and for the students who need technology regarding our things like universal design to ensure that learners of all abilities can access our course materials. So the strategic goal around that is to build innovative teaching, scholarly, and creative activity programs. We'll probably insert the term research back in there. We go back and forth about what we want to call it. So around teaching, we really want to incorporate a variety of academic models and pathways to support our increasingly diverse students and to support graduate education and lifetime learning. Scholarly and creative activity, we want to promote applied and creative scholarship that promotes collaboration, and we also want to have the infrastructure needed to increase resources for grants, contracts, and philanthropy. The third area is to embrace justice, diversity, equity, belonging, and inclusion. We aspire to be a diverse, inclusive, and just community where people we foster a sense of belonging. And it's really important that we're adding that concept of belonging in a real meaningful way. Someone described it as if you show up at if you're invited to a party, you come in and people welcome you in and show you the food and give you a drink, that's being welcomed. But a sense of belonging is when they actually incorporate you in their groups. They don't move into their silos and forget about you once you're there. So a sense of belonging means that people make you feel like you're a part of something. So the strategic goal around that is to enrich the diversity and equity of the university to create a more welcoming and inclusive community. I'm not going to read all of these objectives, but I'm just going to say the focus here is to be more deliberate and bolder about standing up for justice and about the initiatives that we say we want to focus on. One of the ones that I am going to read out, because it was over and over again, we heard from folks, employees, students, faculty, about ensuring equity and fairness in hiring, compensation, retention, promotion, recognition, and authority activities and processes. Really want to take care of the people who took care of us during this pandemic. And a lot of them are our faculty and our staff who are feeling the pinch of that. The next area is resource development and sustainability. A lot here. We really have found that philanthropy, we had a great campaign, raised a lot of money, but that's great. We need that. We need to be able to support student success. We need to be able to support students meeting their basic needs. We want students not to have to not be here because they can't afford to be here. We also want to focus on things like our infrastructure. We've made a lot of advances in that because we've had to increase our use of technology and our ability to use technology during the pandemic, but we don't want to lose that. We want to advance that as well. But we also have, we have also delayed making improvements in some of our infrastructure as well. And so we need to do some work on some of the things that are already here. It also means our other resources, again, our people resources are also a significant investment. We also want to focus more on sustainability on the campus too for cost saving and again, just because we need to be focused on the future of folks who come behind us. So the strategic goal for that is to ensure resource development and stability that promotes sustainability. So again, philanthropy, addressing community environmental needs, investing in building and digital infrastructure, because we want to make sure that the programs that we have here have the facilities to provide the kind of education students need. Staff and faculty professional development, and again, alterations to facilities to improve accessibility for students with disabilities. For all, not just students, all students, faculty, and staff. Another area is Anchor University and community impact. We take pride in our partnerships in the community. And as we take on that kind of, title as Anchor University, we want to make it really stick because it's really important to cultivate long-term and mutually beneficial community partnerships. And that's for a number of reasons, but also because, we are the people's university. We are here for a reason. We're not here just to feed off the community. We're here to give back to the community as well. So again, some of the objectives here is we want to institutionalize the Anchor University operations. So there was a whole group of folks who worked for a year on coming up with that initiative, and so we want to roll that initiative in the strategic plan. Again, some of the others expand training, professional opportunities for faculty and staff to incorporate Anchor principles in curriculum and curricular activities. Develop further partnerships so we can expand internships, service learning, and service opportunities. And we want to support K-12 schools, and so that we want to ensure that high school students come to us college or career ready. The next area is wellness, and this is the sixth and final area. This is an area that wasn't in the proposal that came from MGT Consultant, but we just feel like, kind of given where we are and where we've been, this is a significant area that we focus on the health and well-being of our campus community. And so our strategic goal around that is to create a campus ecosystem and culture of wellness that promotes a healing university, student success, and overall campus well-being. We want to promote well-being as a path to student success and balanced lives. We want to be deliberate about that. That means delivering innovative programs and at the individual community level, integrating wellness into the curriculum, advising, campus experiences, and research, foster a safe, supportive, and inclusive community. And that really means, including, and we just had the public safety officers. That would go as far as, making sure they understand that, there may be students here who have a need for mental health services, and the response to that needs to be measured. And also ensure equity in health services and wellness issues. And so that's the last of our strategic goals. We've got 6. Make it on our own. What are we doing now? We're collecting stakeholder input. I've been going around doing Zoom and in-person sessions such as this, gathering feedback. We've had the plan online. We're going to continue it online, I think, through Monday. So we've already got quite a bit of feedback, and I'm happy to say many of those are students. We'll be adding the key indicators and timelines, and then we want to finish by early May. And then by fall, we're going to be looking at operationalization. I've not been able to say that once. Operationalization and implementation and ongoing assessment. And our strategic planning task force will be involved in all of that. So.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Robin?
Yes.
Samantha?
Thank you for the presentation. So I had a question about measuring the assessment and how is that going to be made open to the public as to seeing where our campus is on the strategic plan. It's 5 years, correct? 5-year strategic plan?
It's 5 years. So we by the end of the semester, we want to finish this part, what you see, refine it, have it done. So the measures will probably be something we'll be adding in the months after that. And so what we expect to be able to do is, as we revise it, put it online so people can take a look at that. And again, the strategic planning, the strategic planning task force will still remain intact. So even if those same people aren't on there, maybe they graduate, maybe they move on, we'll use that same representation to make sure that that representation is there, because they're going to set up not only the indicators of success, but the assessment plan going forward. And then the ongoing assessment for the next 5 years will be the responsibility of that task force. They might do subcommittees, they may do a number of things around that, but there will be a responsibility to do some ongoing assessment to make sure we're on target. I think I answered your question. Yes.
Bill?
And for the sake of the script, and thank you for the presentation. Sorry, that was very, very insightful. But for the sake of this group, if they have suggestions or want to make comment do they have the ability to do that through the website, or is there another means for
They have the
that?
ability to do that website, or they can just email me. You know, either way, it's fine. It's probably a little easier than the website, because they have it all there in one place, but I've had people email me as well, or, you know, give me feedback in forums, all of that. Some people want to go and digest it and read it after the presentation. I really hope that people will do that. I think we've got it up until the 18th, but we'll continue to take feedback after that. Honestly, after that, you'll probably be seeped in fiddles, so you will not have time to take a look at it, but we really want the feedback. And I'm happy to know that we've had student participation, not only in the task force, but students who have, you know, again, listened in on the forums, have gone online and given their feedback, participated in the surveys. But here's my thing is, we can never have enough students.
Thank you. Gina?
Hi, Dr. Carter. I wanted to thank you and the task force and all those involved with something we haven't seen in the strategic plan of this university in all the time I've been here, and that's a reflection of the staff and faculty. Beyond the teaching part of it, the resource management finally has something where it talks about infrastructure, policies and procedures, financial planning, and things that obviously touch my world because we're in the support area. The reason it's so incredibly important is it's very important for people to see themselves in the strategic plan. Otherwise, they don't feel part of the community. So that has been lacking for many, many years, and I'm happy to see it has made its way in. But in addition to that, we all know that budget and budget allocation is based on how it supports strategic priorities of the university, and this provides that opportunity to make improvements and make goals towards the strategic plan by actually investing, even especially financially, in those categories. So thank you to the group for listening and hearing whoever our representatives were. I saw a few of those names on there I noted, but it probably came from them, that we see that reflected in the strategic plan. Thank you.
Yeah, and we listen to people. That's why I wanted to say, we're making revisions now, so we've got some really great feedback, like, you know, did you consider that, or I don't see this in there. And, you know, we have 30 people on a task force, but you need the whole campus community, actually, that input. There's still gonna be something out there that you didn't think of, or you think it's in there, but it's not as transparent as it feels. So all of that's really important. I wanna say the faculty, and particularly staff group gave us a lot of feedback. And again, because, you know, a whole lot of kind of moving this mountain, where we moved 30,000 students off campus and thousands of staff in like the 2-week period. I was still there then. I still feel that in my bones, okay? That, you know, a lot of it fell on staff to make it happen. And, you know, and so they're now coming back and saying, hey, what about us? Take care of us. Because we want to see our students succeed too. And so we're here.
Thank you. Rob?
Hi, Dr. Carter.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was curious because in the vision statement, you know, there was a shift, as you articulated earlier. I find that the words that we have are so important, but it doesn't feel as holistic as what you started talking about wellness. So I'm wondering if anyone in your, you know, whatever feedback you've gotten in your review,
You want the vision or the mission?
the vision right there. Education, second round, a welcoming, inclusive community shall be a leader in education, innovation, and engagement. And I wonder where the wellness part comes in, the holistic approach to whole human support, whole human development. I know that you said that the consulting group didn't add that in, but that you all chose to. How is that maybe going to be reflected in the vision moving forward so that folks know it's not just about achievement, but about our whole selves being embraced by the university?
That's a very insightful comment, thank you. And so you just know, I'm not taking notes, but this is recorded, and I think I'll have access to that. So what I'm doing is, so you know, when we come to all of the sessions and we get feedback like that, I'm laying all of that out, and all of that will go back to the task force for us to consider. And that's actually, and let me just tell you, it's very interesting, and I didn't expect. We've got very little commentary on the vision or the mission. I'm really surprised by that. But I'm going to tell you, that comment is very right on target.
Thank you. Are there any more questions for Dr. Carter? Seeing none, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining
Hope to
us
hear
and
from some of
presenting.
you. Bye-bye.
And now we will be, now we will be moving on to the consent calendar. And for consent, we'll be having 2021-22 for 127 Carr Elizalde University Committee appointments. And then we'll be having 2021-22 for 129 Sayas Carr Elizalde Internal Committee appointments. And if there are no objections, both items will be adopted into the consent calendar. Hearing none, the consent calendar has been adopted. Now we'll be discussing items for withdrawal. So we have 2021-22 for 126 Soltero Carr Elizalde Financial Committee appointments as withdrawn. And we have 2021-22 for 128 Carr Elizalde recommendations to the president for university committee appointments. Now we'll be moving on to new business. We'll be discussing 2021-22 for 130 Soltero Elizalde approval of the 2022-2023 ASI budget. Is there a motion? Faith?
I move to approve the 2021-22-04-130 approval of 2022-2023 budget.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? Faith?
Maybe just pop up the budget one more time so we can show our budget for 2021-2022 budget. This is the right one. Yes.
Yes, 2022/2023.
So yeah, I'm just here to approve the budget. I had no emails or recommendations on the budget, and we've already sent the budget to the president, correct? Mark, not yet? Okay. So after the approval, we will send it to the president of Nelson and get his approval.
Thank you. Are there any further discussions? Mark?
Thank you, Chair. I also want to thank the F&B committee. They really have spent a lot of time and effort into this. They have all their homework and schoolwork to do, but they really put a lot of input into this. Listening to all the departments come and present and making the financial decisions on all this. So they did approve it, and also with the leadership of our PPF right there. They did a great job. And I think the majority of them are graduating, but I think we might have a couple that might be coming back, so we're going to get them signed up. But just real quick too, what we're looking at up there is budget 22-23, that column. And if you look at the very bottom, $21,008 is a positive budget that we have for next year. So that's a good thing. If you look at the column next to it, 21-22, that's $690,000 deficit. That's not going to happen. We're in a better place right now, so everything's looking real positive. But overall, on the internal programs, $9.6 million, that was only a 3.3 increase. So all the departments that increased their budgets, whether it's paper and supplies, staff, was an increase of only 3.3%. But also in that number, it includes any increases for student wages for next year, hourly rates. But it also includes a 3.03% increase cost of living adjustment, a COLA, for full-time staff. As I mentioned last time, we did have increases, a 4.52% in the 13 western states COLA for last year, and a 3.21% increase in the Bay Area. So we're just trying to keep up with everything, and a 3%. It fits nicely in this budget for the full-time staff. Also, right up above too, you can see how much increase we have in our revenue. At the very right-hand total revenue under the variance. We've increased over $1 million. We're now coming out of the COVID area, so a lot of those areas, such as the program fees, are starting to increase for camps such as at Peak Adventures and the rentals of all their equipment, and also with the aquatic center. They're really going to pick up steam also in it. So that's a reflection on our program directors trying to get back to the normality of everything that they offer. And also the student fees, there's an increase in there of $214,000, which is based upon the cost of living increase that's applied to the student fees via a referendum. So are there any questions on that?
Thank you. Are there any questions? Are there any further discussions? Seeing none, we can move on to a vote. All those in favor of approving the 2021-22 for 130 Soltero Elizalde approval of 2022/2023 ASI budget, please raise your hand. (14) in favor, please lower your hand. Any opposed, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we have 14 in favor. The motion has been passed. Now we'll be moving on to the next item for new business, 2021-2022 for 131 Soltero ASI Parent Advisory Council passed policy changes. Is there a motion? Faith?
I move to approve Parent Advisory Council policy changes, 2021-2022, 04-131, ASI Parents Advisory Council policy change.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? Faith?
So as I mentioned in our last meeting, the policy changes have not been updated since 1999. Some history, so ASI Children's Center has a robust Parent Advisory Council, which is known as PAC. PAC discusses and advises the Children's Center program operations, including parental fee structure, expansion of services and changes, operating policies and procedures, and long-range planning. So I'm having a recommendation for the following changes of the operating rules. So based on these changes, we are just doing changes to the voter member positions. We're also adding PAC recorded responsibilities and taking out the parent involvement. Group designee, we're taking that out. We're adjusting some of the wording to be more updated. And we are removing and adding in some language based on these corrections. This is what you will see. And that's about it.
Thank you. Are there any further discussions? Sandra?
Hey folks, like we discussed last week, these are very much needed changes in order to bring our Parent Advisory Council up to current standards. As Faith mentioned, these have been written in 1989. But after you approve them, it doesn't end there. We have to send them to the university president to have them incorporated into the policy manual. So hopefully we can get those incorporated by the end of the year. That would be worth it. But this is an important first step in having us updated, to update the PAC.
Thank you. Are there any further discussions? Hearing none, we'll be able to move to a vote. All in favor of 2021-22 for 131 Soltero ASI Parent Advisory Council PAC policy changes, please raise your hands. (13) in favor, please lower your hand. Any opposed, please raise your hands. Seeing none, the motion has been passed. Next, we'll be moving on to 2021-22 for 132, CAR Soltero, allocation of strategic priority funding for 5.0, support basic needs programs and initiatives. Is there a motion?
I move to approve 2021-22 for 132.
Lovepreet?
Thank you. I move to approve 2021-22 for 132 CAR Soltero allocation of strategic priority funding for 5.0 support basic needs programs and initiatives. Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? Lovepreet?
Thank you, Joseph. So this legislation says that we are allocating $400 for donation to support university-wide campus event, which is called Out of the Darkness Walk, which is this event is organized by American Foundation Suicide Prevention Program. Little bit of background on them is it is a voluntary health organization that gives those who are affected by suicide. It is a national community empowered by research, education, and advocacy to take action against these leading cause of death. So American Foundation Suicide Prevention use these donations to fund suicide prevention education programs in schools, work, any other programs, provide support to those who have lost someone to suicide through programs like Survivor Outreach Program. So we will be donating this money to support the event, which will be used for the programs that American Foundation Suicide Prevention use. Also, this donation will be supporting our strategic priority 4.0, support basic needs programs and initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further discussions? Samantha?
Yeah. Oh, am I good?
Samantha?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so as Preet said, the 5.0 strategic priority, I thought my advisor, it would be best to fit in there because really mental health, access to mental health resources is a basic need. So just wanted to clarify that in terms of, you have questions, it's not going to an exact priority, but it's going out to the overarching priority.
Any further questions? Victor? Or discussions?
For Faith, how much money will we have left in discussions?
Faith?
Sorry, I'll get back to you on that because I still have to, we have another strategic priority that we have to go over and pass. And after those two, I'll give the balance on our next meeting.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, any other discussions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to a vote. All those in favor of approving 2021-22 for 132 Car Soltero allocation of strategic priority funding for 5.0 support basic needs programs and initiatives, please raise your hands. (13) in favor, please lower your hands. Any opposed, please raise your hands. Seeing none, the motion passes. Next, we will be moving on to 2021-22 for 133 Elizalde resolution supporting the Stanford Sierra Youth and Families Run for the Children event. Is there a motion? Samantha?
I move to approve, if amended, to add Linda Howe Ram to the resolved, I forgot to put a name, but move to approve if amended. 2021-22 133 Elizalde resolution supporting the Stanford Sierra Youth and Families Run for the Children event.
Second.
It has been moved, so sorry, it has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussions? Samantha?
All right, just to give another brief overview of this. So the Run for the Children event is an event that is sponsored by Sacramento State in collaboration with the Stanford Sierra Youth and Families, short for SSYAF, where participants are able to engage in a range of activities to support local youth and families. The SSYAF does serve multiple counties throughout the Northern California region, benefiting approximately 4,500 youth and families. They offer services and programs ranging from juvenile justice programs, mental health programs, managed care. There's a typo, foster care. It's not foster care, but that's grammar, so that's okay. And adoption services and family advocacy and support. And I said approve if amended because I did put the interim director of Guardian Scholars Program in the resolve. I just didn't put the exact name, so that's who the name is. But then, yeah, so I did say I would come back for clarity on whether or not it is virtual. It is virtual. It'll be happening on April 16, 2022 from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., where if you register, you can participate in a number of different events from running, jogging, walking on a trail with a park, walking around your neighborhood, going for a bike ride, outdoors trip, kayaking, swimming, gardening, painting a sport, or participating by yourself or with a group. And then these activities will be logged into your account, and then that's how the thing works. You can also donate to the event, and registration starts at $29 and includes an event t-shirt. So while we are not donating any funds, we are just giving our verbal support of supporting the organization as well as the event. So yeah, I can answer any questions if you have them.
Are there any questions, any further discussions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to a vote. All those in favor of 2021-22-4133 Elizalde, resolution supporting the Stanford Sierra Youth and Families Run for the Children event, please raise your hands.
It's amended.
As amended. Thank you. (14) in favor, please lower your hands. Any opposed, please raise your hands. Hearing none, the motion has been approved. And now I would like to pass the chair to the vice chair.
The next piece of business is 2021-22-4134 Sayas Elizalde resolution calling for stronger university-wide sustainability efforts.
Okay.
Is there a motion? It's been, one second. Joseph?
I motion to approve, I move to approve 2021-22-04-135 resolution calling for stronger university-wide sustainability efforts.
It has been seconded, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussions? Joseph?
Hello. So, the resolution is whereas Associate Students Incorporated at California State University, Sacramento is the sole representative voice of more than 3,500 students at Sacramento State, and whereas it is the duty and focus of ASCSUS to represent and support our students and advocate for policies that would benefit the student body. And whereas the Climate Action Plan was introduced in 2016 to ensure the Sacramento State campus reduces greenhouse gas emissions, and whereas the vision created ensures that campus operations led to a carbon neutral campus by 2040. And whereas SB 32 requires GHG emissions levels by 40% below 1990 before 2030. And whereas Sacramento State made a promise to be zero waste campus by 2030 with the implementation of a zero waste plan. And whereas the carbon commitment is not satisfied because carbon neutrality is not a part of the curriculum where students can have an educational experience. And whereas the carbon commitment is not satisfied because Sacramento State has not achieved carbon neutrality. And whereas the Climate Action Plan can be revised, reviewed, and resubmitted every 5 years with the possibility to extend the timeline of a carbon neutral campus, and therefore let it be resolved, ASCSUS supports the call for a stronger university-wide sustainability effort. Resolved, ASCSUS commends and appreciates the Sacramento State Sustainability Department's efforts and work done to make our campus more sustainable. And resolved, Sacramento State as a university should work in tandem with the Sacramento State Sustainability Department and the campus community as a whole on campus initiatives for the betterment of campus sustainability. Resolved, ASCSUS calls for sustainability efforts to happen sooner than the timeframes of 2030/2040. Resolved, ASCSUS will call for the university to forego any extensions of the pre-existing carbon neutrality timeline detailed in the current climate action plan. Resolved, Sacramento State should ask sustainability stakeholders around campus for collaborative ideas to promote the reduction of GHG emissions. Resolved, Sacramento State should continue to promote the initiatives that the Sustainability Department has created for the Climate Action Plan. And resolved, Sacramento State shall only build all electric and gas-free buildings moving forward, which would help steps towards carbon neutrality, investing in sustainability infrastructure. And resolve, Sacramento State should fully implement their carbon commitment by fulfilling their promises made in the 2021 Climate Action Plan. So this resolution was created in order to call in and make a stronger university-wide sustainability effort. And Sacramento State promised that it would be a zero campus waste. And the promise has not been fulfilled because we are still trying to find ways to implement the climate action plan, but also I let the sustainability department look at the resolution, and they inputted many things that they wanted to see, such as that Sacramento State should only build all electric and gas-free buildings. And working in tandem with the sustainability department, the climate action plan is not being looked at and is not being taken seriously. And as I mentioned before, they can resubmit every 5 years. So originally, I wanted to not have that. Originally, in the document before, I edited that around because they're supposed to submit it every 5 years. However, with sustainability's idea, it is to forego the event of them changing the date of them submitting it. So working in tandem, the dates that they presented, they could potentially say maybe instead of 2030, let's shift it to 2035. And instead of having that be a possibility, we're calling for a stronger sustainability effort to happen now instead of in the future, or instead of maybe foregoing it and extending it even longer. And I really took the advice that Gina stated earlier and wanted the sustainability department's voice heard. And I wanted to commend the efforts that they're already doing and ensure that we are helping as a campus move along towards a sustainable campus.
Are there any further comments, discussions? Rob?
I just wanted to say, I think it's so interesting that this is aligned with the strategic plan that was just sort of presented to us. One of their strategic priorities is ensuring that Sacramento State becomes a sustainable campus. So pushing this out at the exact time that they're finalizing their strategic plan is brilliant. And making sure that they can't move their date sounds like a really great strategy. So something to consider, just that I think you all are doing an incredible job. It seems to be really aligning with what the university is doing and the direction it's going. So, I'm in support.
Thank you.
Gina?
On that note, I'm asking for additional resolve. I don't know if that's considered clerical or needs an amendment.
Oh,
It'll need an amendment.
You'll need
I need an amendment.
Gina?
I'd like to amend the document to add 2 folks into the final resolved to be for distribution. One is the Vice President for Administration and Business Affairs, CFO, Jonathan Bowman, who is the Vice President over Sustainability. And there's other layers, but that's good enough. And then the second one is to add Dr. Robin Carter as the Strategic Plan Coordinator. I don't,
Special assistant.
Special Assistant, I guess we
President.
would use her title, Special Assistant to the President.
Any further discussions, comments? a second?
Second.
It has been approved and seconded.
Moved.
It has been moved and seconded.
Seconded to amend the last resolve.
To amend the last result.
Amend the last result.
By,
I have a question.
oh, okay, well, let's finish
Yeah.
okay. By adding,
By adding,
Vice President for Administration and Business Affairs, CFO, Jonathan Bowman.
Jonathan Bowman.
I would
Vice
say
President.
after Dr. Mills and before friend faculty senate chair. And Dr. Robin Carter, special assistant to the president, after Jonathan Bowman and before faculty senate chair.
Dr. Robin Carter, assistant to the president.
is there any discussion on the?
Any further discussion on the amendment?
I have a quick question. We would have to vote on the amendment, correct?
That's
Okay.
correct. So, no discussion, so.
Okay.
Then
No discussion, so we can take the amendment to a vote. Raise your hands if you approve. 15 in favor. All those opposed? None opposed. The amendment has been adopted. I'm sorry?
Did you use?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, we need to approve the amendment.
Oh. So,
Is there any discussion?
is there any further discussion on
On
the
the
amended
amended resolution?
resolution? Samantha?
Yeah, I just wanted to add the comments that I said during our last meeting that, this work should not fall on just the sustainability department. It should be intertwined into all segments of our university, and I really appreciate that it's a part of the strategic plan, as Rob said. I was really one of the ones pushing for it with the sustainability department because we really wanted to separate sustainability in terms of financial, environmental, and all the other ways sustainability can fit in. So really want to appreciate the sustainability department for the work that they're doing thus far, and really just call for a better intertwined and collaborative effort to be more sustainable environmentally.
Yes. Any further discussion? Okay, so all in favor, raise your hands to approve. $15 in favor. All those opposed? None opposed? The motion has been adopted. So I will pass back the chair. If there's no objections, we can sit here.
What's that? Thank you. Good job, Olivia. Thank you. And with that passing of the latest motion, we will be moving on to the ASI College Director Reports. And so for the Director Reports, we will have 4 minutes plus 1 minute for Q&A. And also, if your board report was late, you would have 2 minutes to present your board report and 1 minute for Q&A. And starting off with their board report will be Aladria Brown, Director of Arts and Letters.
Oh great, more talking. You guys just can't get enough of me. All right. Hi Hornets. It is almost finals time. Ooh, I can't believe it. As finals approach, please remember to study now so you don't have to make the mistake of cramming later. talking to myself as well. As students, we are so used to putting important things off, but I urge you all to schedule some study time now, even if it's just 30 minutes out of your weekend. The resource I am choosing to highlight is the Aquatic Center. It is getting very hot. It was 90 degrees last week, and it is only April. The Aquatic Center is located in Lake Natoma and includes things like an on-site gym, jet skis, and kayaks. The best part is some days these students get free rentals. So keep your eyes open for updates, Hornets, and of course follow us. In the words of Malcolm X, education is the passport to the future for tomorrow. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Take charge of the little moments, Hornets, and try to enjoy it as much as possible. So I have been busy, like a lot of my constituents here. So we, for the State Hornets Publication Boards, we are finding a new editor-in-chief. I'm going to put that in this Friday, this week. Very excited about that. Green and Gold Committee, we met March 14th about our guest speaker, Zaylor Stout. He came, I want to say April 11th, but we can correct him later if I'm wrong. So all of that's going very well. Something I did want to highlight in my meetings and events and presentations was I recently did a takeover for Sac State admissions, and it brought in a lot of followers over on my student government account. I didn't really know what people were gonna ask, so doing a takeover is kind of scary sometimes, but I think I did well, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I tried to answer the questions that I knew the answer to, and if I didn't have the answer to certain questions, I did reach out and ask for that to, for them to answer those questions. Because, sometimes even part of being a part of the board, you don't always have all of the answers, which is okay because we're still students as well. So I would urge some of my directors to do the same with Sac State admissions. If you can do an Instagram takeover with admissions, that would be great. They're really open to it, and they really do like to see a day in the life. So yeah, it was very interesting and very, I really enjoyed it. Also, the Meet the Majors campus event that we had, Colton was there and some other directors were there as well. So it was, it's just always nice to see us all supporting each other. Very nice. And then one event that just happened, the Basic Needs Resource Fair, was a huge success. Of course, I didn't have the time to put it in my board report at the moment, but I just wanted to shout that out because that went very well. Still working on the ASI presentations, trying to get out to the other departments, so definitely we'll have more of an update there for this month. But yeah, that completes my board report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Eladria? Thank you, Eladria. Next, we'll be moving on to Corelli Rivera, Director of Business.
Okay, so hello Hornets. So just a friendly reminder to keep pushing through. We're in the middle of April, quickly approaching the end of the semester. So now more than ever, it's important to stay focused on the end goal, which is to make it to summer. But seriously, make sure to keep your physical and mental well-being as a top priority in the upcoming weeks, because as we know, the spring semester passes by so fast, so it's important to enjoy it. As well, if you are struggling right now, make sure to reach out to myself, any other directors, or anyone you feel comfortable with. There's plenty of resources like the Student Health and Counseling Services, Financial Wellness, and the Peer and Academic Resource Center that offer a wide range of services. Another thing I'd like to mention is that you're all invited to the 65th anniversary celebration of ASI, which is on Thursday, April 21st from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Residence Hall Quad. There will be a free taco truck, mechanical bull, KSSU DJs, and more while supplies last, so make sure to come by and I'll see you all there. And best wishes and stickers up. For my internal committee updates, for the ASI Marketing Committee, we held our last meeting on March 10th. where we discuss the details of the upcoming ASI events for the spring semester, along with receiving updates from all the distinct ASI departments. Our next meeting is actually tomorrow, April 14th. As for the Campus Educational Equity Committee, we held our last meeting on March 17th, where we received updates from each of the distinct entities on campus that are a part of the committee. Our next meeting is scheduled for next week, April 21st. And for the University Union Advisory Group, our last meeting was on March 7th, and we have no further details of upcoming meetings. And for strategic priorities, as you can see, a lot of them are highlighted in yellow, which are completed, and the ones that are left are mostly surrounding the 65th anniversary of ASI, which is also coming up, the following events. For my office hours, I read and scored ASI Director Scholarship, and I've also been communicating with the Office of Student Engagement and Business Club with upcoming collaborations and replied to any emails. And for meetings and events that I like to highlight, I also went to the Basic Needs Resource Fair yesterday, which was a really big success. And today I had my monthly meeting with my dean, Cordero, and right now I'm focusing a lot of my efforts and energy in spreading the message that we need a new director of business for the next board. So I've been outreaching to business clubs and trying to present in their club meetings and just presenting more about ASI and highlighting my position in order to motivate students to apply once the application is out, since I feel like that's one of my biggest responsibilities. So yeah, I'm hoping that just outreaching and talking more to students will hopefully motivate a couple of them to apply. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. And for presentations, I've also been reaching out to classrooms, or my classes, to make presentations in class. So yeah.
Thank you, Corelli. Are there any questions for Corelli? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to Victor Payne, Director of Education. Victor will get 2 minutes.
Hey, how's it going? It's Victor. I just want to acknowledge everyone who last got, a new seat for the next 2022-23. Just very acknowledge it. Congratulate y'all. They're going to keep doing great work for the next year. I'm happy y'all can do it. Next, if you weren't aware, Autism Awareness Month used to be celebrated in April. However, last year it changed to Autism Acceptance Month. It seems like a small change, but the meaning behind it is important. Awareness was being seen as understanding someone who has autism, and now we want to kind of shift that ideology to be able to include that person with autism, and you're demonstrating acceptance. So with that change, it's something that we need in order to be better. I hope all of you out there embrace changes necessary in your life in order to become a better student, athlete, artist, or whatever it is you're passionate about. Thank you. So you can check out my work, but I want to highlight an event that I went to, Young Men of Color Consortium, the conference that happened last week. A faculty mentor invited me to go, and I kind of asked him, are you sure I should go? I don't know if I'm young anymore. I'm pretty glad that I went because it was young students, but half of it were educators like myself, so it was good to meet a lot of different people from all the CSUs, come together and talk about, how our issues as men of color, and especially as educators and students in our field. So yeah, if you have any questions, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Victor? Rob?
Hey, Victor. I also felt that consortium was out of this world and incredibly important. So I was curious if you could highlight anything that happened or anything you attended that you felt was really worthwhile.
I think one of the things that really stood out was the keynote speaker on the second day in the morning. It really spoke to me, you learn a lot of these things, the terminology that I used about racism and race lighting was something that I learned too in his speak. Things like that you hear about in textbook. When he really told the stories, it really made the connections. So I really like that.
Thank you. Now moving on to Garima Sharma, the Director of Engineering and Computer Sciences.
Hello, Morning. This semester seems to be flying really fast, but I hope you are doing great in your classes. We are about a month away from finals, but it will fly in the blink of an eye. Please take some time to meet with an academic advisor to plan the classes for next semester. I know it gets really difficult to make appointments with advisors when registration starts. It will help you to get your classes you need if you are prepared now. And to all my graduating seniors out there, how exciting is it to not worry about the class registration date? I have heard a lot of students mention graduation goggles. Do not let them make you sad. Instead, look at it as positive light. Use that as your last push and finish the semester strong. Also, take a moment to reflect on what you would like to do that you haven't already before you graduate. Maybe it is visiting the planetarium or the challenge center. Either way, either a first-year student or a graduating senior, be proud of yourselves for coming this far. You are a semester closer to your long-term goal. I hope you have a great rest of your semester. Best wishes. In my committee updates, I would like to highlight that since the last board report, the Student Academic Senate has met twice, and they were really great discussions. We were able to meet with Samuel Jones from Housing, and we were able to also have discussions about class modalities, in person or versus virtual, what are the pros and cons, and we discussed about the coursework workloads for students. For university committee updates, I've been really busy with this, grading the institutional scholarships. The numbers are fluctuating with the number of scholarships I have assigned. Currently, I have 87 to grade, which is in progress. For my strategic priorities, for the most part, they are all completed, at least the ones that are to all board members. Others are in progress and will be soon completed. For my officers, I am catching up on emails, connecting to all the ECS clubs, and being part of Joint Council. So I'm really excited and happy to share that all the ECS clubs have been really active, and they actually reached out to me about with a bunch of questions. So I'm really excited that they are reaching out. A student stopped by during my office hours, so I'm really excited to help them. Another student wanted to start an ECS Honor Society because there are really less honor societies in ECS department, so just helping them with the paperwork, and now that has reached President's office, so that's exciting. I graded all my director's scholarship, which we're training to, and continuously grading the institutional scholarships. I'm also part of the search committee for VP of IRT and admin. So there was the first initial meeting, which I was able to attend for part of it. Another part, I was able to watch the recording for the same. Other than that, a few things that I would like to highlight, that I was able to attend the CSSA meeting. Then I had a meeting with Dr. Arad, who is the ECS interim associate dean for student affairs, and they really wanted me to reach out to all the clubs individually. After which the attendance of ECS Joint Council has increased, so that was super exciting. And I also got my training, the Draw a Trend, for grading scholarships, and then I had the meeting with Dr. Safi Zadeh, who is the dean for ECS, and that was a monthly check-in for the Alumni Center, or the ECS Alumni Center, and what's happening with all the clubs and organizations. Apart from that, I got a chance to meet with the department chair of EEE. She was really excited to know about the ASI position, as she kind of had a highlight of what the ASI directors do, but she really wanted to know more what the position is all about. Then April 6th was the initial meeting for the VP, IRT, and CIO search committee. But other than that, two campus events that I like to highlight were the ECS Alumni Mixer and ECS Career Fair, which were a great success. And currently working on getting more class presentations done.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Garima? Gina?
It's going to be a silly question, but I've never heard of graduation goggles. Can you explain that, please?
Oh, sorry. Garima.
Thank you. Yes, it's more about the nostalgic feeling when you're graduating.
I love that idea. Thank you. Now we will be moving on to Colton Maddox, Director of Health and Human Services.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's hard to believe we are nearing the final few weeks of the semester. Please study hard and most importantly, take care of yourselves. If you need any support during this time, please reach out to myself or a fellow board member. We're here to assist you. Another side note, there are free COVID self-tests available at the food pantry and also pop-up pantry events. Thanks to the Office of Administration and Business Affairs. There is a pop-up pantry event next Monday, the 18th, in the library quad. If you or a family member needs a test kit or other basic resource, please visit the ASI Food Pantry. Good luck, Hornets, as we prepare to finish the semester strong, and shout out to all the Hornets graduating. Committee-wise, March was really filled up with the HHS Dean Search Committee for myself. This is an exciting time. In a few weeks, we're looking at doing in-person interviews here on campus. I remember when I served as a sophomore as the director of HHS, we were in the middle of a search committee for the Dean of HHS when COVID hit and all hiring stopped on campus. So, and now I feel like we've come a little full circle. We're a little past COVID, and it's exciting that HHS is going to get a permanent dean position. Strategic priority-wise, I really just want to highlight 2.2.1, advocate for student wellness regarding COVID-19. I want to give a huge thank you to the Office of Administration and Business Affairs for their donations to the food pantry. The COVID tests that they've provided in number, they've donated 15 boxes. Each box contains 90 kits, and each kit contains 2 tests. So that's 2,700 tests in total for our students. Not only does it help our Sac State students in need, but also their family members and maybe a roommate that has COVID that they need to be aware of. So that's a huge win for the food pantry. And then recently I attended CSSA's plenary this past weekend. It was an amazing experience. I wish I could attend them every time they happen. Let's see. I've also been advertising the ASI Food Pantry quite a bit with their location, hours, and their available resources. Events have just been a lot of HHS Dean Search committees. Sometimes when I'm at the hospital on my lunch break, I'm going to Zoom for HHS Dean Search. That's a good time. But I love that committee. And then also twice now I've distributed COVID tests at the pop-up pantry and then passed the basic resource fair, which was a huge success. And then I should be there again on Monday, or we will just have the food pantry handing them out. And we have a lot more test kits for them. So last food pantry we had 1 box of 90 kits at the food pantry and they went super fast. The students are definitely appreciative of them. I had a lot of people DMing me asking if they're still there, if they're still available, and I referred them to going in person at the food pantry to get them. But at this next one, I think we'll have 3 boxes, so that should be a decent amount. Definitely students are super appreciative. And that's about it for my report. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Laura? Sorry, my brain.
It's okay. It's almost Friday. So I just want to commend you for the whole COVID test being, there. I know that there is, you and maybe other people with it, but that is a huge help. I posted it on my story when I got one. I wasn't able to get one the first time around because they ran out. But the second time around, I was able to get some. So I just want to commend you for that because that's huge. We're still in our, pandemic, so it's very helpful. So thank you for advocating for that, and thank you for, really pushing for that and for having that available for your constituents.
Thank you.
Thank you. Druvesha.
I also want to commend you because you always go out of your way to make sure that you can give out the test wherever you can. Like yesterday, you were tabling with the ASI Food Pantry, handing out tests, and I was seeing you were just like going around with all the tests. That is really good work. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Colton?
That was funny too because they emailed me on Monday. They emailed back about that event specifically. I was at the hospital, didn't get back to them until like 8 p.m. And then I picked them up that morning and attended that event. But I was only able to attend that because my community health clinical got canceled. So it was like perfect timing, so I was able to do that. Yeah.
Do we know how many kits we've given out so far in total?
Yeah, we've given out 4 boxes total so far. So we still have 11 boxes because the most recent donation was 9 boxes. So that's a huge increase. So they go quick. So I think we'll check back in a few weeks, but I think most of those will be gone by the end of the semester.
And thank you. Now moving on, we will be hearing from Isha Bindel, Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics.
We have top right
No?
It's low.
It's low.
They're all low.
I'll just speak louder. Hello Hornets, I hope all of you are doing well and taking care of yourselves. We're almost to the end of the semester, so take a moment to acknowledge how far you've come and finish strong. One thing that I would like to mention is that the Out of the Darkness walk will be taking place this Thursday to remember and honor those whose lives have been lost to suicide, raise awareness for suicide prevention, and support all those who have been impacted by suicide in any way. Please register and attend if you're able to. And as always, I highly encourage you to attend our weekly board meetings held in the Green and Gold Room of the University Union, where you can ask questions and voice any concerns you may have to the ASI Board of Directors. And I'm wishing all of you a successful semester and a great year ahead. So as for the internal committee updates, the Student Wellness, Safety and Sexual Assault Awareness Committee, the committee discussed about organizing a sexual assault prevention awareness seminar in collaboration with UNICE, promoting the Out of the Darkness walk on April 14th, doing club or class representations made by Student Health and Counseling Services on student wellness, and tabling across different campus locations to promote Sac State student wellness resources. For the university committee updates, for the Apira Center Planning Committee, I don't have any new updates because we haven't had any meetings since my last board report, so the next meeting for this semester is scheduled for April 18th. And for the grade appeals panel, there were 3 appeals that were to be evaluated this semester, so they've been completed and the recommendation letters have also been mailed. For strategic priorities, I would also like to highlight 2.2.1, advocate for student wellness regarding COVID-19. Actually, this Monday, last Monday when we were tabling, I was supposed to be the 3rd person to table. And it's a funny story, I heard from Colton around 1 hour in, and I was about to come and he told me that they're all out. So that was amazing, and I also want to say thank you because I think within 1 hour, all of the COVID tests were gone. And also 3.2.1, advocate for culturally competent and diverse mental health counselors. Now our follow-up meeting is scheduled for this Friday with Student Health and Counseling Services. As for meetings and classroom presentations, I did 2 more classroom presentations for my Bio 2 class. For the NSM Academic Council, I have an update from my designee. She said that currently the Academic Council is awaiting their revised ARTP documentation, which is the appointment, retention, tenure, and promotion document, to be approved by the university. But the latest update from that department projects that the NSM College's ARTP document will not be looked at prior to the end of the spring 2022 semester. Secondly, the NSM Academic Council Equity and Inclusion Working Group has given their recommendations on the formation and committee charge of the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee for the college. For the NSM Joint Council, currently the NSM Joint Council and the HHM Joint Council will be hosting the 2nd academic specific event for priority 1.2.1 on April 29th. And we're also currently planning an event with the College of NSM to encourage student participation and recruit more members for the Joint Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Isha? Thank you, Isha. Now we will be hearing from Laura de la Garza Garcia, Director of Social Sciences and Interdisciplinary Studies.
Thank you. So my little note is just kind of a lot of links because I kind of sense that all of you do a lot of links and I just figured I should hop on that. So it's just talking about the home stretch. It's the final 5 weeks of the semester before summer break, or if you're taking classes during summer, I mean, it's a little bit quicker pace, but it's definitely going to put you ahead. So what I have linked on there is going to be the summer financial aid that is available. I just had the link on there, so just click here. I have some internships in the summer that were offered by several departments in the SSIS college, so they can click there. And then, I don't know if BDNs did you watch this, but if they are, this was for you. This is for a summer job in the aquatic center. Because what better way to just spend your summer than working near the water and with a bunch of cool people. There's also a link to KSSU, SEO, and other ASI jobs that are hiring on campus. And then if you're gonna graduate and you're lacking motivations, just click that link. You'll laugh. It's fine. And then just best of luck these next couple weeks. You got this. Some of the things that I want to highlight just very briefly, just because a lot of the stuff is pretty much concluding, is my note to the Hornets, which I just told you, the Basic Needs Resource Fair, which I want to really shout out Javisha because I know that she was really pushing for that. I mean, it was a huge event. It was very, very busy. I mean, I know that where all the clothes rack were, there was a pile of people. I mean, it wasn't hard to find because it was just, just follow the crowd, follow the music. And I know she really pushed for that. She really organized it with Danielle and team, and it was just, I mean, I commend you for that because that was an amazing event. That's something definitely under your resume because, again, it was huge and it helped a lot of people. And also I already commended Colton on that and Elizabeth for being, they were sitting right in the sun, but they had nice smiling faces handing out COVID tests and giving out information. And, it was just very good energy from the people that were there helping. Another thing I want to highlight is that we are ASI podcast. We are pretty much done. We are, like I said before, we're going to move forward with it. We have our 6th episode, which, basically completes a priority because we had it up to 5. So we're going to do a 6th one on April 22nd. And lastly, KSSU is going to be doing a, not an event, but they're collaborating with Graduation with Commencement to where they're going to be doing kind of like an hour party, and I was asked to be MC along with Sage. So I will see you all at your graduations an hour before. That is all.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Laura? Hearing none, we can move on to Dhruvisha Budani, Director of Undeclared Students.
Okay, it's working now. I know, fellow Hornets, we're almost at the finish line. All we need is a one last big push to get through the semester. While the COVID numbers are declining, do not forget to take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. Well, it is okay to be overwhelmed. I am all the time. It's fine. I'm still here. There is help out here on campus if you need it. If you need help and are feeling lost, just contact me or anyone on the ASI board. I also want to urge everyone, especially graduating seniors, to attend Earth Week as well as Pride Week. There's so many events. It's all coming together. I also want to commend Samantha because she has gone out of her way to schedule those events for Earth Week. I'll see you there. Okay, for our internal committee, Student Marketing Outreach Committee, we are done with the Basic Needs Resource Fair. We had more than 200 people turn up. We had around 80 survey responses. We had around 20 agencies there. We distributed 150 free burritos, which were out in an hour, so we're gonna double the amount next time. I also want to thank Bill. I saw him there, Gina. Sandra was there for a lot of time. I also saw Lisa walking around. And most of the board members I saw, they came, they helped, especially I also want to thank Joseph for his professional clothing drive. He was yelling really loud. He was like, free clothes, and I was like, he's like on top of his work. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm hoping to present survey results soon. I'm still working on it. That is done. For University Sustainability Steering Committee, the meeting is scheduled for April 25. Friends of Library, there was a subcommittee meeting on April 9th to discuss best ways to carry out membership drive. We're still working on it. The Student Fee Advisory Committee, we already approved all the proposals for fee changes. Our meeting is scheduled for April 29th. I have, again, color-coded my strategic priorities. The yellow ones are already completed. The green one is the one that we are working on, which is going to be on April 29th. And the blue ones are ongoing social media. So I'm almost done. Really glad. For office hours, I just replied to emails, did agenda and minutes for student marketing outreach. I also want to thank SEO because they actually designed the flyers for Basic Needs Resource Fair and they turned out so good. I just don't know what to say, it was just really good. And then for meetings, there's not a lot to highlight. I just want to highlight me, Laura, and Sadia presented legislation on KSSU's 30th year anniversary reception. That was by far the best thing I've done since I've been on the board. It just felt different. I just want to say And I'm already done with my classroom presentation, so that's about it. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Through Bishop? Hearing none. I just see darker gray and lighter gray. Now moving on to the last board report is Ezra Cabrera, Director of Graduate Studies, and you will be given 2 minutes.
Yeah. Forgot. Hello, Hornets. With the final semester closing in on us, I hope you have all been able to take the time to care for yourselves. Personally, this is my final semester at CSUS, and it's been incredibly difficult to juggle so many of my responsibilities while also finishing my thesis project. I know that many of you are in similar situations, and remembering to take time for the things that bring you happiness is so important in preventing burnout and maintaining one's mental well-being. Taking short breaks from studying and getting plenty of sleep is also essential for performing better on exams and papers. I'm so excited for everyone to wrap up the semester and be one step closer to our goals. Something important to remember is that life is a journey and not a destination. The moments that we have as students and the lessons and things we have learned will become valuable entities that we will carry with us throughout our lives. Moving on to my committee updates, Diversity and Equity Committee. At the last meeting, we discussed our event, which will be on Zoom on April 25th. It will be called Student Speak, a discussion on student housing. Thank you, Joseph, for doing such a good job on that board. Finance and Budget Committee, ASI budgets presented and completed. No updates for the Executive Safety Committee. Strategic priority updates. You can look at them up right there. Event calendar. Next page. So just the 65th anniversary alumni panel moderated for that. Finance Budget Committee, Working Board, Social Justice, and grocery pop-up, a bunch of random things. And then at the end, sending, replying emails, social media, going through the abbreviated Anti-Racism and Inclusive Campus Plan during my office hours. And I also spoke to the Pride Center about future collaborations, and I wanted to thank Tran for the incredible work that they've done for Pride Week and sport directors.
Do you just want to forgo the Q&A and then continue?
It's fine. I feel like my nerves are so bad today.
Are there any questions for Ezra? No questions. Thank you, Ezra. Now we are done with our ASI College Board reports. Congrats, everyone, and good job. I feel happy hearing everything that happens within different colleges, and just to hear every work that the board of directors are doing. Sometimes you don't necessarily see the work that someone is doing, and during the board reports, it's great to hear, and even hurrah to the board of director next to you, because we're all doing such great work. Now we'll be doing announcements. Are there any announcements? Rob?
Yeah, just to uplift what has already been said about Pride Week. It's next week, and I don't think anyone actually said that it was next week. So, so from Monday the 18th to Friday the 22nd, the Pride Center is hosting several events. One I'm super excited about is an undocumented queer conversation, which I think is such an interesting intersectionality for a lot of students who happen to be, here at Sac State. So if you could, and I think that maybe some of you were sent a schedule that was very lovely, but maybe you could post it on your Instagram or shout it out in the story, because part of feeling like we belong is our leaders talking about us, right? And uplifting some of the events that matter to us most. So that's just one way you can just support the Pride Center that works really hard to make students feel welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Hey, folks, just wanted to also highlight the 2 upcoming 65 anniversary events. There's going to be the big blowout on next Thursday from 3 to 6. Joey has promised to ride the bull, so the mechanical bull, and promised not to sue us. So that's really So no, but please do promote it out to the students. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to have taco trucks, popcorn, henna artists, it's the full-blown outdoor fair phenomenon. So please, our ASI offices will be closed during that time so that we can have all of our student employees and full-time employees as well to come and enjoy the festivities. Then the following week, the Tuesday, will be the alumni panel. So we will have a career panel in partnership with the Alumni Center and the Career Center, and that will have food as well. So it'll be fun to close out our 65th anniversary celebrations. And I do, when we get, Lisa will send you the social media collateral on both. I think you've already received it on the party, but you'll be receiving the one for the alumni panel. And I do ask each and every one of you to share that out, speak it out, because it's a really interesting panelists. We have two who work with tech, so one engineer at Intel, one who works at a tech company here in Sacramento, a woman who's very high up in politics, and nonprofit workers. So a lot of opportunity for even those of you who are seniors to come and network with your fellow ASI board members.
Thank you. Gina?
I wanted to shout out all of you that participated in the Basic Needs Fair yesterday. I did have an opportunity to stop by. I'm going to just echo what everybody said, but I wanted to really say that I know this is a collaboration with CARES, but that you all stepped up, and I know there were parts of that you did the heavy lifting, and so that's appreciated. And I saw so many of you participating and helping, most specifically with the professional clothing drive. I wanted to shout out one of my employees, Laverne Simmons Barnett, who is also helping with the professional clothing drive part. And she also volunteers with the food pantry regularly as well. So her heart is with Sac State, and I was so happy to see everybody out there. But the thing that was really incredible for me, and this is not necessarily driven by any of this, was seeing that kind of resource fair with so many students there. We haven't seen that conglomeration of students in 2 years, and it made my heart happy. I think it was the music, I won't lie, and the great balloons. I'm certain the food at some point was also a big draw, but when you walked into the quad, it was truly drawing people from different parts, because I walked in from a couple different areas as I was heading to a couple different places, and the music was a great draw, and just the energy and the activity and the shout outs and so forth. So for those of you that participated, but also just thank you for providing something that not only was really helpful to the folks that participated in it, but also bringing back that energy of what a university can do to bring together our folks to get those resources or have a fun time is incredibly important to the student experience. So thank you all for your hard work to make that happen.
Thank you. Bill?
Thank you very much. I also, just to start, would like to do a shout out to the Basic Needs Fair. That was incredible. And thank you everyone who was a part of it. And those of you that worked with Laverne, I don't know who all you did. I just want to point out she's a former All-American middle hitter for the volleyball team here at Sac State that won a national championship. So the things you don't know about people. She's an amazing member of the Hornet family. And she's been on campus for 36 years. The little bird just told me as a staff member. So she's going to have a well-deserved retirement coming up here in the next few years.
Next year.
Yes. Also wanted to bring up that this is the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and there are going to be some activities that are being promoted. And if you can attend any or all of them, I would encourage you to consider doing so. The Walk Out of Darkness event tomorrow. I'm going to check the list tomorrow. Since the first time I mentioned that I'll add an additional $10 to my original donation, only 2 people had signed up. I'll look at it, but sign up today, go tomorrow. If you've lost somebody, a friend, a colleague, a family member to suicide, this is a chance to really honor them. I know the president and his wife have gone through that pain. And even if you don't have somebody and just want to go to honor him, I know he would appreciate it. And if you do so, take the time to go up to him and let him know that you're there for him. Give him a hug or an abrazo, as he likes to say. He'll be very grateful for it. A couple other things really quickly, and then I'll stop talking. So the strategic plan that we saw, I've been a part of strategic plans in the past, some that become a paperweight on a shelf and gather nothing but dust, others that have been active, functional roadmaps that move an organization forward. If you were listening to it today and have the inclination to look at it, and for whatever reason don't see it representing you or speaking about or to you, make the comments. Share that information. I took notes as it was going on. There were some things that I was noticing that I'm going to comment on. It will either guide the next 5 years or it won't guide the next 5 years. And if it doesn't guide the next 5 years, it's because we didn't provide the feedback it needed to become the kind of tool that will really move this institution forward. So it's really on us, okay? One thing that came out today, I know that the president likes to share stories at graduation of students that have had to overcome challenges or adversity of some sort on the way to their journey to earning their degree. I'm sure there are some incredible stories around this room, or you have friends who are graduating that have an incredible story. If you have one and you are open to sharing it with me, I'd love to pass it on to the president. I know he would love to be able to share those stories during commencement. So either reach out directly to the president's office or you can reach out to me. I'll be happy to. So I won't make you work. I'll do the typing. I'll write it. I'll create the narrative with you. I'll do I'll do the heavy lifting. I'm happy to do it. The last thing I wanted to mention, speaking of sort of Hornets and feeling pride, I don't know how many of you are fans of baseball, but yesterday in the San Francisco Giants game, the first base coach for the San Francisco Giants was ejected from the game. Interesting story there, but that's not what this is about. He was replaced by Alyssa Nacken, a Sacramento State graduate, former softball player. And back when I worked in athletics, she became the first female coach on the field in a regular season game in the history of baseball. So back in the 1800s, and it's a Sac State grad, one of your fellow Hornets that broke that barrier last night. So I just wanted to share that with you. So if you see it on the news, feel proud. That's one of your Hornet family members. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Are there any other, Karina?
Hi, I just wanted to remind everybody, according to one of our strategic priorities, we have to register 200 new voters. So please plan to table on May 2nd, 1 to 3:30 at the library quad. We have 119 more to go. Also, thank you for the plug. So 2 more to go. 2, you know who you are. So
Call them out, call them out.
Our last meeting is in May, so please be there.
Thank you, Thank you, Karina. Are there other announcements? Ezra.
I just wanted to congratulate all the grad students who've been presenting their theses recently. I personally got to attend a PSA and present my research, which was really fun, and I got to meet some Sac State Sociology Club undergrads and grad students. So yeah, just congratulate all of the grad students that you see presenting their research.
Are there, hey.
I just wanted to announce for Victor's question, our strategic priority funding, we have about 3,100 left. So be strategic on that funding.
My wordplay. Are there any other announcements? Lovely.
I just want to echo what Bill said. Please register for the Heart of Darkness Walk. Few of you did register for it, so I want to thank you. And lots of you still left to register for it, and you know who I'm talking to. And also be there by 5:30 tomorrow to support it too, because a student can support other student, and we are not doing a lot. We were just walking around, and I think it can mean a lot to many students. But also, there is an event called Breaking Out of the Box. They will be discussing about how gender roles impact our views of sexual violence and rape culture. It will be on April 19th at 2:30 to 4 p.m. in Cottonwood Suite in University Union. So if you can attend it, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other announcements? Okay, I will be making mine. So the first one will be about office hours. Board members, remember if you are doing an event that was approved during your office hours, please be sure to check in with the front desk and let them know where you are, what time you're going to come back, and just so that they can inform students of when you've stepped out and just to have a better notice. And also, please CC Lisa in any emails about you missing your office hours, maybe having to be absent for a board meeting. I am going through a senior brain moment because I'm a senior, and as you just saw, I forgot a name that I've known for this whole year. So please make our jobs easier and CC Lisa. That way,
Lisa's job harder.
it is not really harder would be not showing up and not telling anyone. So that's the first one. The second one is we will be having a board celebration on Wednesday, May 11th, following our last board meeting. We will invite the nominees of the Student First Awards and award the recipients. Board members who are graduating will also be able to receive their ASI stoles, and we will have refreshments and an opportunity to celebrate all the work that we have done this year. I can't wait for the food. And also, speaking of the Student First Awards, Lisa sent out the ballot for the Student First Awards, so please vote ASAP. The deadline's gonna be this Friday, April 15th, and each voting board member gets one vote. And I already voted, so hopefully y'all can do it. It's very easy, and let's celebrate each other. So then, also, I believe that Denim Day is gonna be the 27th, which is a Wednesday. So if it would be, if possible, I would like the board to show support and dress up in denim. And then, let's see. So yesterday we had the Basic Needs Resource Fair, which I think was very successful. And so we were collecting tickets from the professional clothing drive, and I counted and there was 500 tickets. So we gave away 500 pieces of articles of clothing. And just hearing that 500 articles of clothing went to students that needed it, or students that may just want to look really nice for a professional job or interview, was amazing and touched my heart. We also do have clothes still available. So as board members, please let me know what we want to do with it, such as if we want to have another small professional clothing drive before finals. I think it's imperative to have students look into the clothes before donating it elsewhere. And let's see. Oh, speaking about the professional clothing drive, I would like to give special thanks to Alyssa Rendon, Isha Bindel, Travis Martin, Richard Angelo, Harima Sharma, Faith Saltero, Francisco Terran, Samantha Lazale, and Dhruvisha Bhutani, because each of these students, even if it was just passing along and just helping out with the racks, each of y'all helped out and made this event possible for students. So thank you so much. Are there any announcements? Samantha?
I have quite a few announcements. So I sent the policy on policies for feedback. So please be sure to look at that, provide feedback, even if it just looks good. That'll be good feedback to provide. But I need to submit that back to Antonia so she can relay ASI's kind of position and feedback on it. The next thing, I sent you all an email yesterday on evaluations, so make sure you fill out the sign-up genius. Thank you for those that have already done it, but if you've not, please do so. If the times that are listed do not work for you, please communicate that with me and we'll work out a time. The evaluations I'm doing this year are a little bit different. I really want you all to reflect on your term and reflect on your own personal and professional growth, so we can talk that through and maybe plan for how you're going to do in the future. But also checking on if you did what you needed to do, your responsibilities, etc. So looking forward to that. As stated, Pride Week is next week, and unintentionally Earth Week is also next week. So lots of events to go to. I promise you that. There's something going to be happening like every hour. So look out for those promotional materials, and please, please, please share them. I sent out a calendar invite for Succulents in the Sun with the ASI board. I understand we cannot all be at one place at one time, as out of Wednesdays from 2 to 5. But if you can attend, please accept the calendar invite and plant some succulents. The next thing, Trustee Maria Linares is going to be here on Monday the 18th at 2 p.m. To visit with the board. Well, she'll be here all day, but at 2 p.m. she has time allocated to visit with ASI. Usually we do these during board meetings, but as you know, our board meetings have been kind of packed, and she's coming on a Monday. So if you can attend, please accept that calendar invite so I can give you all more information on that. Next thing, I got invited to be at a press conference and also meet with Congresswoman Doris Matsui. So we will be discussing her funding and how that has been to use. So since she's in Congress, it was a federal level, so they want to know how our dollars are being put to use, basically. I know I have experience with the HER funding, not only through the disbursement, but also applying for additional aid, so I can talk on my perspective. But I really want to uplift the voices of our students as well. So if you have any feedback from students on how they utilize the HER funding or how it impacted their life or helped them, please send that over to me so I can, express that during the press conference as well as with Congresswoman Matsui. Next thing, Out of Darkness Walk is tomorrow, so please attend. I remember going to the last one that was in person. It was an amazing experience. I will also be talking at this, giving a speech at the Out of Darkness Walk. So please be there to support me and our fellow Hornets. Oh yeah, Lexi too, me and Lexi. So yes, be there to support us, if anything. And the cause, obviously. Denim Day is, as said, April 27th. If you don't know the history of Denim Day, please look into it. It's a very interesting story on the reason where it originated. So I can send more information about that. Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April is just full of everything, so please try to, join in on the other things and all that. So next thing, don't litter our river. The grad pics are coming up. I see a lot of people taking their beautiful grad pics on our campus, but please do not use confetti that is plastic or anything else. Use leaves, use nothing, use beautiful, you don't have to use confetti, that's just an option. But please, if you see somebody about to blow their confetti, say stop. Next thing, and we'll actually be giving out leaf confetti at our different events during Earth Week. Next thing, the strategic plan. I do sit on the task force, so if you have any feedback you want to give me, please relay that to me or Bill. And last thing, just big congrats to everybody in the Basic Needs Resource Fair, but through Visha especially for the whole planning of it, and Joseph for the clothing drive. It's so heartwarming because there was a student, I was doing tickets for a little while for the clothing, giving them out, and she came up to me and she said, I just got a new job and really needed these clothes. And it's like, wow. And she really she got what she needed. I was like, yes, please take everything. There's no limits. And then there was other students that were a little shy to get things. I'm like, don't be shy. I got some stuff. There's some good clothes. And we were announcing, you're like, Vera Wang, Calvin Klein, because there was that kind of stuff there. So really, congrats. It's a really, good thing for our students. And I hope something we continue in the future. So that is all my announcements. Thank you.
Thank you. And speaking of the Don't Litter Our River campaign, Green Team has been making biodegradable confetti. So please, if you would like some, please let me know. It's not great to pollute the river and to use confetti that is not biodegradable. And one more announcement, on April 25th, SJAC, which is Student Social Justice and Equity Council, will be having a forum called Student Speak, a discussion on student housing. So if you have any students that may be knowledgeable about student housing or have had personal experiences, please email me so that we can have them as a panelist. It would be refreshing to hear about the student perspective about housing on campus, off campus, and the resources on what they have been going through within the past year or 2 years, especially since the pandemic happened. So thank you so much. And are there any other announcements? Hearing none, we can adjourn at 3:59.